Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you all are having a fantastic time wherever you are. Today, I'm here to actually challenge you more than anything. I want to challenge us, because obviously we are all in this together. I want to actually start by saying they were never yours. I repeat to you, they were never yours. What am I referring to? Those thoughts. The thoughts you have today, the thoughts you live your life by, were never yours. What do you mean by that? Let us actually start from the beginning, right? Every single company, when I say company, I'm talking about a reputable company, a great company, a renowned company, starts their products with one thing in mind, one thing only. Can you answer that? Just answer that. What do they have in mind when they start their companies, when they get so big? All right, we'll answer that later. The first thing we need to talk about is what happens to every product that passes through a production line. Let's take, for instance, BMW. BMW is known for making great cars. When you see a BMW, almost certainly know what a BMW looks like if you're into cars. Every single BMW that is driven out there goes through production, just like any other car. And when I use the word BMW, I don't want you to limit it to just BMW. Just use your imagination to think about any other product or product line. The point I'm actually trying to make is every product goes through a production line. They go through a quality assurance or quality controls department. What do those departments do? They actually guarantee or ensure that before a product goes out there, they are certified and fit for use. So I'm assuming that so far you understand where I'm going with this. Well, if you don't, follow. I'll use again another reputable company like Apple. When you see an Apple logo, you know what that represents. They are certainly like the king of cell phones, the king of iPad tablets, or they actually make the iPads. Anything that has to do with those gadgets that we use every day. When you see that Apple logo, you know it for excellence, right? Majority of these companies out there actually, there's a last thing they do when all of their products go through the production line. There is one thing they do at the end of everything. Do you know what that is now? It is the name, the branding. That's the last thing they do to their products. They put their brand on the name. What does that mean? It means their reputation, their integrity lies in the name. That's why I asked you earlier, what is the major goal? The major goal for every great company is to protect that name. The name is everything for them. They cannot afford for that name to be associated with any kind of mediocrity, with anything less than excellence. This is where I was actually going with that. So there's a reason why at the end of the production is when they actually put their name on the product. BMW, Samsung, GE. Think of any big name out there. Their name is what is the most important thing to them. This is the reason why when the slightest thing happens, they recall their products because they feel like it's not safe, they do not have you in mind when they do these things. The main thing they have in mind is their brand. They cannot afford to turn on the TV and their name is soiled. The name they've actually built several years to act, the name they've actually built in several years. They can't afford to have it be tarnished in just hours. Where am I going with this? Every single person that lives on this earth came through a production line as well. In other words, you were certified safe and fit and good to go before you were delivered. You came with no defects. You came with nothing to indicate that you were not ready to go. In other words, you were perfect. At the assembly line, they looked at you, they said, he's good to go. Now let's have an image on him. This came from the ultimate source, which is God. He created us in his image. And everybody that exists on this earth also went through a production line. And then we were certified fit to be on this earth. After the delivery, something happened. None of us had defects. And when I'm talking about defects, I'm talking about the totality of not living to our fullest potential. Something happened along the line, which is what we're going to be talking about today. What happened? Our parents happened. Our teachers happened. Our friends happened. Our siblings happened. Our neighbors happened. Think about everybody that had some type of direct experience with us or some type of interaction in our life's journey. They happened. What did they do? The current thoughts we have today was sold to us by them. We started to believe all the limitations, all the negativity that they started selling to us. Now, as time went on, we started to live according to those thoughts. What are some of those thoughts, you may ask? You're too tall. You're too short. You're too smart. You're too dull. You're too think of anything. You're too dark. You're too slim. You're too skinny. You're too fat. Everything about yourself today that you think totally about yourself that is a limiting factor to your life was taught to you by somebody else. You don't believe me? Try this. Go home today if you're a man or a woman and try to put your pants on the normal way. You probably never put any thought to the fact that there is your right leg or your left leg goes in first. And it's happened to you for many, many, many years. If you try to use the opposite leg, let's say for instance, for every time you wear your pants, you put your right leg in first. You probably never paid any attention to that. Try putting in your left leg first and see what happens. You will probably almost fall to the ground. It's happened to me before. I tried it. Where did I learn this? My parents taught me that. And as an adult today, if I don't put my right leg in first, I'll probably fall down. That is just one of the simplest examples of the mind, how the mind becomes conditioned. What else have they taught you that you cannot live without? What else have they taught you that has limited you to this point? There are several factors, several things. Maybe time will not permit us to actually have that discussion today. But I want you to begin to look at your life and ask yourself, what have they told you that you live by today? I'll give you an example. Somebody was told many years ago, probably in kindergarten or maybe first grade, second grade, they said 1 + 1. You said 3. At that moment in time, the teacher says, you are so dull. Other students are answering the question. You said 3. You will never amount to nothing. 40 years later as an adult, You sweat when you see a calculator. Where do you think that thought came from? It came from somewhere. You became limited. Today, I am here to announce to you that those thoughts were never yours in the first place. Why am I saying this to you? It's time to take your power back. Other people's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. You are who you are, regardless of what people's thoughts or opinions are about you. Many people say, "You are so ugly, I don't think you will ever find a wife." That is somebody's opinion. You imagine living the rest of your life based on someone else's opinion. Many of us have found ourselves in this situation today. We are limiting ourselves to what we could do because before we do it, we think about what someone else would feel about that particular action, as opposed to how would you feel about that particular action. I want you to begin to pay attention to these things. This is the reason why we have this life today, where most of the kids on social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and all these other social medias out there, everything is based on a like. Your life becomes validated based on someone else's opinion. If you do not get a like, it's enough for you to go commit suicide. It's that serious. Where did we get this mentality where someone's opinion has to define how we live our lives? Then it begs the other question, where did we go wrong? This is, if you're interested in actually creating a change for yourself, that answer has to be honest. We must begin to look at ourselves as ourselves, not from the eyes of somebody else. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. Someone told me something about himself. Shout outs to Victor. That's my buddy. He worked out judiciously at a later age in his life. And he started to look at the mirror and he said, "I like what I see." And I said, the person you see has always been with you your entire life. He never thought about it this way. And we both shared a laugh together based on this. This is how a lot of us are. We have lived with ourselves till this moment. How many things about ourselves do we love? You must begin to love yourself. You wake up in the morning, you see yourself in the mirror, you say, "I'm a fine mother." Shut your mouth. I wasn't about to do that. Well, you get the point though. What I'm trying to say is, you must love yourself first before you can love somebody else. After all, you can't give what you don't have. Self-confidence comes from self-love. Self-confidence is self-taught. We teach ourselves to love ourselves. When you were growing up, I can't imagine the number of times you heard, "You're stupid." You grew up as an adult thinking that you're stupid. I hate that word anyway. It's time for us to take our power back. We cannot live our lives for other people. How many of us would, before leaving the house to a function, will put on a shirt and say, "I wonder what they're going to think about this shirt I wore. I wonder what they're going to think about these shoes." You're not wearing it on their bodies. You're wearing it on your body. It doesn't matter what they think about what you have on. It doesn't matter what they feel about how you look. It matters what you feel about yourself. This is the reason for this conversation today. I notice also that our minds are stuck in this mode. I know it's not easy. It's years and years and years of conditioning, but it must start somewhere. It has to start with self love. In conclusion, I am here to announce to you that there is absolutely 100% nothing wrong with you. Don't worry about what they've told you. Don't worry about what that pastor told you, that it's going to be impossible for you to get a husband. It's going to be possible for you to get a wife because that's how it's been in your family. Says who? Someone's opinion does not have to be your reality. Your life is your life. You are who you say you are. You are who God says you are. You are not what someone else says you are. You must begin to love yourself in order for you to give love back. I hope this helped somebody today, because I know it did help me. I watch the things I say to people now more than ever in my life. I hope you do too, because literally speaking, people's lives depend on this. Until we meet again next time, you'll have a fantastic time and keep the thoughts positive. Thank you.